Good day. So with multiple sales branches across South Africa, Instacom ensures that clients get localized support. Our sales director joins us today to discuss how our regional teams operate, the unique challenges they face, and the successes they've experienced working in different areas in the country. Hello, Pierre Slabbert, sales director Instacom. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Roland. It's nice to be back.
So jumping right into it, Instacom has sales branches obviously in various regions, and in the previous episode we spoke about that a little bit. I think we've got 9. Is it 9 or 10?
Currently, I'm also, if I quickly go through it, I think it's Cape Town. It is PE, East London, George, Free State. Then our head office, that's at here in Centurion, Rustenburg, Limpopo, that's up in Polokwane,
Mpumalanga.
and Mpumalanga, that's Nelspruit. Yeah, it's 9.
And Durban.
And Durban, it's 10.
Yeah, just in South Africa.
10.
And obviously we've expanded into the African environment as well.
Correct.
We've actually set up in Namibia and Mozambique. We're busy with Kenya, Botswana on the way, and then soon to follow, hopefully Zambia as well. Things are doing really well there.
I think that's going to be a very nice area to develop.
Yeah, Kenya is a central portion of Africa, and it gives us a bench to work from, like a foundation. So, but the reality is that our bread and butter has been positioned in South Africa, that we've been, for so many years, close 15 years now. And we've seen that these localized regions, a big portion of success actually establishes. Tell us a little bit more about these teams and how do we support our customers?
Yeah, I think probably our biggest successful branch is Cape Town. Morne van Wyk that started that branch, if I'm correct, probably 10 years ago. It was all by himself.
Probably 12, 13 years ago, yeah.
Can be that long, eh?
Yeah.
And he was all on his own. And I mean, he started to develop that area to where they are today. And I think if I'm correct, there are 11 or 12 staff members in that branch located in Brackenfell in one of the office parks there. So, yeah, kudos to Morne. It's a massive growth that's been shown in Cape Town. And I think the challenge for us is how we also support these branches from head office. And I think to get the synergies at a level where those, let's call it the standard operating procedures, has also been adapted or adopted within those branches as well. And for me, the success story on the branches is it just allows us to be so much closer to our clients. And from a geographical spread, each and every branch has a different challenge. If you compare to what happens in Cape Town versus KwaZulu-Natal, KwaZulu-Natal for the past probably 3 years, absolutely through very challenging times with the floods, the looting, that market has taken serious strain over the last 3 years. And it's slowly but surely turning and gaining some momentum again, but it makes it very difficult for our team in that's based in Amanzimtoti to actually start to grow the market, penetrate the market and get it to those levels again. But
and there's different requirements.
Totally
different
different requirements, and I think also total different cultures. But what's nice is the fact that when you are on the ground in these branches, the account managers get to know their clients well. Sorry, and also understand what's the culture within the business, and you've said it, it's those long-term relationships that you want to establish. And being there local, understanding local, people just support local. You get a lot of, especially in Bloemfontein, where it's very conservative in the sense of who they support. Outsider is not necessarily going to do well, but if you are local, you're there, people get to know you, you're part of the community, get entrenched in the community drives, and you play golf, and you just socialize within your community. That's where the relationships is taking place, and that's, I think, for me, that's where the success is great, because we've done a number of launches in Cape Town about a year and a half or 2 years ago. We recently did a night product launch in Bloemfontein, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. And
There's two events we're doing also in KZN and Cape Town this year.
Correct, yes. One is a Securex event. And we're doing a kite in KwaZulu-Natal that's very industrial focused, more on your industrial manufacturing portion of South African market. But yeah, total different ways, different horses for courses in those branches. But what makes it nice is the fact that we are there and we can immediately assist where needed. It's always nicer to have that individual close by than to talk to someone remotely on a phone, and you feel a little bit.
And would you agree? I mean, it makes us more effective responding to customer needs.
Absolutely. I would, from a service perspective, from a support perspective, like I said, it's way easier to pick a phone up and within minutes, or maybe at the most an hour drive away, you're there. You're at the client, you can assess the situation, you can help them if need be. You talk to the guys from head office out of the call center to assist on the site or whatever the situation might be. But I think also what I like about it gives you local market insights. Because I think the biggest mistake that we can make is to copy and paste. To think what we're doing in Cape Town, just copy and paste that it's going to work in KwaZulu-Natal. We've seen it. It's absolutely not the case. And the more you know about the culture, the more you have insights about the market, obviously the better you can plan. Your strategies is way more aligned with the team. So it makes it a total difference when you're there.
Tell us a bit about specific challenges in these regions. And obviously there's things like urban versus rural, certain infrastructures that maybe deteriorates, like the networks that doesn't connect when there's load shedding, that the actual repeaters goes down, of the local MNOs. And also obviously every industry has got their own challenges.
Correct. Yeah, I think always the challenge between urban versus rural is, I mean, you and I are based in an urban area. I think if I can summarize, it's very fast paced. Turnaround time is of the essence. People's patience are not the same compared to what your expectation maybe would be in Cape Town or in a Bloemfontein, because it's a metropole that's, let's call it Gauteng. It's high competition, high density. So it's a total different strategy, approach, mindset versus what happens in a Bloemfontein or out in Polokwane, for that matter. I also think the more you're in an urban area, the more diverse the type of client. If you take Bloemfontein for that matter, it's very farming orientated. There's an industrial manufacturing portion,
a lot
to
of
it.
agriculture.
Very, 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 very strong agricultural surroundings in Kimberley and Valwater, around Bloemfontein, and the way you build your relationships is totally different, just because of what those needs and requirements would be. I also think, traveling wise, being rural, you travel the distances is way different than compared to what we do here in Gauteng. We think we travel far and it's maybe 85 kilometers, there and back, but if you in a Bloemfontein and you suddenly need to do a POC for a client, but this client site, one is in Kimberley, one is in Welkom, suddenly before you know it, you've traveled 2,000 kilometers. And it takes time out of your day. It takes time away from the office. So those challenges are real. It's happening. But again, we are thankful that we do have people that's out there that can go and face these challenges directly and make a difference. I think from an infrastructure perspective, also it's all about you mentioned it's the network. Out in the Kalahari side, network's a challenge, and then
very mounty areas,
very
even
mountain,
Durban,
correct.
KZN areas. It's quite a bit.
Signals strength and the challenges that you face there is on a day-to-day basis affecting people's way of doing business and how they interact with one another. I also think if you look at varied targets, the target market. We've touched a little bit on that as well when you're in Bloemfontein, when it's very much farming. But when you're up here in the urban area, you can have everything from construction, all those verticals that we mentioned in the previous episode. All those verticals come to play when you are in an urban environment, and you have a different way of needing to service that from a staff complement and what you do and how regularly you can do it, etc., etc. So, I think also it challenges the sales team with their strategies. It's a horses for courses, different way of approaching the client. Again, I said the culture is what's important, and the moment when you are experiencing a tangible culture, it's way easier to sell to that.
I think also one of the things that we've seen works really well is to do a little bit of integration with some of our partners or technology partners that doesn't necessarily work within the same deliverable that we do, but they definitely make us strong and vice versa. The likes of Easy Roster.
Absolutely.
What are some of the other partners that the sales team are working hand in hand with?
Currently we've got Easy Roster that's very time and attendance driven. I just want to maybe tell you an interesting story before I go over to PEL Solutions. But the one client that we're currently busy with that's very much focused in facility management, and it's amazing how you can conceptualize or perceive the challenge in your mind. And for me, it was interesting when Cara, myself, and one of our account managers went there the first time. What I thought is the challenge for them, they probably hold close to 500 million rand, if not more, worth of stock on their floors. And the day when we went through the operations, I asked, so, how do you manage your stock, and it was on a clipboard and paper, and I thought, well, here's a clear gap, this is what our solution should address. So thereafter, after the whole visit, doing the premises, we met with the CEO, and I said to him, quite obvious, your biggest challenge should be this and this, and he looked at me and he said, no, it's not. And I was, but how not? And he says, no, my biggest challenge is actually overtime. Because I don't know if the overtime that I'm actually paying out every month is measured correctly and it's correct. And it's amazing that after we've implemented through our technology partner, Easy Roster, he found me and said, you know what, I'm actually going to shock you to tell you what we've spent in rand value on overtime and how much it's reduced now that I have a proper system that can measure to the T what we need to do. And I think that's Instacom. We measure, we monitor, we get that data, and we make strategic decisions based on that data.
Well,
so
one of the customers that also implemented Easy Roster in partnership with Instacom mentioned that he saves close 25%.
That's correct.
On the labor cost, which
Correct.
is
It's
a
massive.
lot, especially if you've got a lot of people working for you. You don't actually realize until you measure it.
Yeah, and then I think in our previous episode, you also asked me regarding when you talk to the finance director of a business. I mean, they would know what it's costing them. So you're quite right, Roland. 25% is a massive saving when it comes to overtime, and especially if you have 2,000, 3,000 staff on your books.
10% of a saving pays the whole Instacom solution for you.
How easy is that? How easy is that?
Easy Roster.
You see, Easy Roster. Yeah, and PEL Solutions we've recently engaged with. Also very strong on time and attendance, but also it brings a different spin to synergy with us where it comes to your biometric systems, turnstiles, actual hardware devices that's been used for biometrics. And there's a whole lot of so many other different things that they can attach to us, and we can again attach our product to them that gives us penetration into the market. So
vice versa, reciprocal business, right?
Absolutely. And we've also, About You, a part of that process with myself, where we made a decision, and it was a calculated strategic decision, that we go into partnerships, that because we want to also engage with partners that's actually fully engaged with us, and we can actually bring the value proposition up and bring something more to the market that anyone else can do out there, So yeah, from a partnership a group of people, I think we've got very, very strong partners.
Online Intelligence, the other one that also
that's
works
correct.
with us
Very much focus on trends within the security environment, and obviously it can for a client, it gives them the ability to predict a little bit better and to strategize better, but also Online Intelligence, very strong partner within the security environment.
Interesting you mentioned predict. One of the things that I think will obviously help assist in how do we tailor solutions and offerings, and how do we keep sales teams invested, being innovative and incorporating something like our business intelligence, Instacom Business Intelligence, and then obviously overlay the AI predictive analysis. Imagine you know what's coming, where you're going to lose money if you keep doing what you're doing, gain some traction on that.
I'm so excited about that product, and I think it's one of our better decisions that we've made to start to bring that into our business environment, because we deal and manage and gather so much data on a daily basis, and the problem is, there's so many companies that they have all this data, but do they really learn something from it? And I think that's where EB is going to make a massive difference. We've seen it in certain areas already, where in the transport area, also in the mining. The reality is you can put it anywhere in a business, but specifically where we've got to play with it a little bit, and we did some experiments. It's amazing what knowledge you gain from that overlay onto the data, and I mean, that's what we on our level want. We want to be able to see what's happening in real time. You need to see with a bird's eye view on a dashboard exactly your business summarized in front of you. So, and that's what EB is going to bring. It's a very exciting tool that I think we're going to add into our basket.
Yeah, and it's a big portion of automation, because currently people employ or deploy a lot of apps capturing information, but then you have to have someone that pulls those reports or that draw information and then analyze these things, and it takes literally days and weeks and months if you get to it. Most of the time it doesn't even get analyzed, and with this it will then be automated, analyzed in real time, which is just putting whichever business you have, whichever workforce you have, whichever process flow you have, literally in the palm of your hands in seconds, as it happens. I think it's a game changer for any IoT platform, any company that's got a lot of staff, anywhere where you're capturing a lot of information, and currently it's not doing anything unless you come talk to Instacom.
Correct. And the nice thing is this, the word is so informative, business intelligence. I mean, how else do we want to manage our businesses without being intelligent about doing so? And like you've mentioned, it gives you that opportunity to I think your speed of implementation. You love to talk about speed of implementation. It's something that I fully agree with. That is going to make a massive difference for our clients out there, because, like you say, it's not going to take years. It's going to happen immediately. And you can make decisions immediately, and then also put your business at a place where you future proof it.
Yes. So obviously in these regional teams, we have to often navigate through different markets. There's different things, conditions that happens. What opportunities do we see in these specific areas that allow Instacom to grow and expand its client space?
I'm going to go back to Bloemfontein. It's probably one of the best examples for me that Louis, that's our regional manager in Bloemfontein, he engaged with a company called SA Pecans. It's all pecan-nuts.
Okay.
And the amazing thing is how Louis, he actually took a whole week. We went down and it just shows you the culture and the environment of where the farming community is so inviting, they always accept you with open hands. And Louis arrived there with his shorts and his Instacom khakis and valleys, and he was a real farmer that day. And the amazing thing was that he spent that whole week at the client to fully understand what they're doing. And from start to finish, from going where they plant, their whole supply chain right through till where they distribute to the client is where Instacom is involved in that business. Every single process, every single analysis, every measurement, from start to finish, we played a role with our devices and our solution in that area. But again, now when you go up to the Middelburgs of the world, Rustenburgs, it's all mining. I think I met with a gentleman the other day. I think it's crazy. It's like 385 mines just in the Middelburg area. 385 mines. It's ridiculous. I was amazed. And so going back into the mining environment again, the mining environment is the application is again tailored specifically again for that mining environment, from where it's operations, engineering, going from where you're on site, transporting the coal to the port, the whole process from gathering the coal, going through your weighbridge, making sure you deliver it correctly. What you've picked up is what you've delivered.
Mitigating
risk once again. And I mean, for the mines, that is massive. We know how they struggled from a coal perspective, ensuring that the A-grade coal arrives where it's supposed to arrive. So I think those are two extreme examples of where there's intense risk versus how do I take a product to the market that's quality versus the pecan-nuts, So I always like to draw that comparison between the two examples.
It's almost a non-stop. It doesn't matter where you go. There's a lot of people that works, and they need to be measured, monitored, and assisted within process flow to be able to give you business intelligence, regardless of industry. And you touched on some of the areas now that includes transport and logistics, right?
Correct.
It also incorporates linking a driver with the vehicle, and then it pushes through to access control, and it literally never stops. I think that the tailored solution sits right in the middle in the description of workforce management, right?
Correct. And I think also, what Instacom allows you to do is this. You gain stickability in a business. It's like you mentioned now, there's so many things that has an influence on this and that and the next process, and we get all of that right to make sure we can take all of that, bring it into one holistic solution, and the ecosystem that runs out of that makes it so much easier for the client to measure and to monitor and to make decisions from. So, absolutely.
And that's the core, right? Making the decisions as it happens.
Correct.
And that either going to cost or save you money.
And hopefully we'll be saving money.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're saving money.
Last thing that I just want to put forward is, looking forward, how do we see that all of these regional sales branches evolving as the business grows? And what's next for these teams in terms of growth with all the new initiatives?
Oh, yes, Roland, that has given me sleepless nights. Because I think we have one opportunity to position this within Instacom in such a way that, for me, the branches, I think, where we're very much now looking at, it's a regional hub and it's a regional business unit, but also the person that manages that branch, or a business unit. I think that person is way more a general manager than a regional manager, because you don't only look after your own sales, you look after a team that reports to you that also do sales, but you have your support function that's within the business, you have your administrative function that's within the business, the sales admin portion, the field technicians that needs to go out and assist the clients from a service perspective. So I think, to summarize your question for me, is I think it's going to become so. The integral thing of the branches is a service orientation. We know what everyone needs to do. We know there's a structure. We know all of that. But I think the main core thing is, as we grow, because that's a challenge with growth, is you lose your contact with the person on the floor.
And driving a culture.
Exactly, and you become a Titanic, and we always said, that's the last thing that we want to be. We want to be that rubber duck that can break through those waves quickly and strong. And I think the challenge is for us to make sure that the branch has been put in a position where customer satisfaction, customer-centric, I've actually put that down for me is crucial, because that will give us the future growth, that will retain our business, because if we do that well, it's easy for me to go and sit in front of Roland and say, let's renew our contract, because of what we've done in the past 2 years with the client, how we evolved, how we've grown the business for them, how we've made them more valuable to their end users as well. So for me, to summarize, I think the branches is going to become very, very service focused and driven, and that to me would be the main focus for us. We know we need to sell, we know we need to do processes within the branch, but if we can get that right, we will ensure that we seal our future growth and future proof our business, because we are growing at a rapid pace. It's nice, but it brings its challenges, and we don't want to lose that contact with our client.
It's we have to stay relevant. So that's Pierre Slabbert, Sales Director, Instacom. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to where we're going.
Absolutely. So excited.
Very exciting times.
Thanks a lot, Roland.
Thank you so much. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much.